Hello everybody, today I want to show you what I think is one of the coolest websites that I've ever found. Now this website was brought to my attention by MindB, who saw it on Databob's YouTube channel. So thank you very much to them for sharing this tool with me. Anyway, the tool itself is called CarveToy, and as you can see, the URL for it is carvetoy.online over here. And essentially, this is a big wavetable creator suite. So as you can see, we can add a lane in here. That is where the project is going to start. And now what you'll find is that we have an output over here where all of your sound design is going to trickle down into. So if you want to do multiple parallel lanes, you can do that. And that way you can have some parallel ideas. But of course, you can start adding a generator in these lanes. So we'll have a new generator and we'll try one of these over here. And then you'll be able to modify the controls. You can see here we have some kind of morphing features. We have a width over here, you have sync options. And then if you want to get into more settings, what you can do is just right click on here and then a window will open. And this is where you can start to do your modulation. Because that is very important in wavetable creation. As you can imagine, all of the parameters need to move in order for this wavetable to actually do something interesting. So now that we're in here, let's set that we have a random type over here. And let's see if there's a little bit of movement that we like. We have some transformation over here, which might be nice to animate. And what we can do is we can just modulate with steps here. And this will give us a basic modulation. Now, in order to actually see what we're doing, it would be nice to play this wavetable. Unfortunately, we can do that here. Let's animate it ping pong. And then start playing over here. And now we can start to modify the modulation here. Say that we draw in something like that. Let's also say that we want to modulate this one here. And say we want this modulation amount to be a little bit less. As you can see, you actually get a nice ring around here that shows exactly what you're modulating. So now let's close out of this layer and add another generator. We're going to go with, say, common shapes here. And you can see our two ideas are now summing together. Now say that we want to add a little bit of an effect to it. Right now we just have this basic shape over here. We can go into one of the effects. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of different effects, and I'm not going to go through all of the effects, all of the generators. I basically just want to show off the workflow so that you can experiment with it. But also, these are so creative and there's so many different things that they're doing that I've really never seen before, that it would take me a lot of time to actually explain what is going on and to understand what is going on, because this software is really, really deep. So I'm just going to load up this glass tube over here, which I have experimented with. What we can do is we can just play with some of the parameters here. And one of the cool things that you'll see is this mask here. This allows you to basically affect just certain parts of the waveform. Say that we just wanted to have this middle part over here, but we want to keep basically this shape in these parts that are now not in red. What we can do on this effect is create a mask by clicking this button here. And then we just add a couple of extra points to that mask. And we can just kind of isolate the individual section that we want to use here. So let's say that we're really just interested in that center part. Let's crossfade a bit so that it doesn't become too harsh there. We could also offset this if we want to have another area that we want to modulate or that we want to change here. And you can open and close the width, which is also really cool. So one of the things that you could do for this particular sound is modulate the width, so that we're doing something like this. Maybe 60% modulation like that. So you can imagine that you can just continuously stack on extra generators and extra effects on top of that. So we can just move on to the next one. Let's set this one over here. Let's just set some amount, some kind of parameters. Maybe you want to open it up a bit. And again, use some kind of mask here. Let's in this case do just the middle out of it. Like so. Again, a little bit of crossfade will help here. And then we can try something like messing around with maybe this balance here or seeing what the bump does. Yeah, let's animate that over time. and then also the amount, but just a little bit. So that it goes up to maybe here over time. So now essentially we have two interesting sounds, and currently what we're doing is we're just summing them together in this combiner, and that then goes to our output. But what could be interesting is to block the signal of this one going to the output and instead using it in some kind of modulation setup over here. And that is where these other two pluses come in. As you can see, we have a stop signal here and a split signal here. And what we can do is we can first stop the signal, meaning that the signal will no longer go to the output, and the output is just the second layer over here. And now from right after the final effect, we can split signal here and then combine it over there with one of these combinations. Again, you have many different options, which means that there's a lot of different things to experiment with here. Let's try this effect. There seems to be some cool stuff happening here with the repeats that we can make use of maybe. Honestly, at this point, I'm at the point where I don't exactly understand anymore what is going on here. I don't know what this harmonic shift self combiner or a self convolver thing is doing here. It sounds cool, so that's nice. But I think I just want to experiment a little bit more. Let's maybe see if we can get a little bit more distortion in here with the saturator. Again, let's open it up and play. This is saturation, yes. I feel like it's a little bit too messy. That might be because of either this effect over here or just the way that they're combining. I'm going to try to see what happens if we turn off or on certain things. I think it has to do with this last bit of modulation here, so I'm going to try to adapt this. What we can also do is have it static for just a part of the modulation. So as you can see, I'm just restricting where the modulation happens to the last part of the playback. So now we get a little bit more of a smoother playback that way, so that is nice. And what we can do now that we're happy with our wavetable is we can just go over here and download. This will, as you can see, give you a nice view of the wavetable. You can go through the whole thing and see all of the individual wave cycles. Here you have a bunch of different settings that you can use, but the default settings will definitely work. And then you just download your wave file. And now once you're in your favorite wavetable synth, what you can do is you can just navigate to the wavetable that you've just created. Just open it through the menu. Don't import it with any of, say, Serum imports modes. Because this wavetable is already going to be in wavetable format, like, for example, all of the stuff in the digital or in the analog category that comes standard with Serum. So you don't actually have to import them like you would with, say, a sample that you're converting into a wavetable. So now we can hear that the wavetable sounds like this inside of Xeron. And honestly, that's pretty cool given that I've been recording for about 15 minutes. So I would say that if I had just done this outside of a recording, this would have taken me like 5 minutes to make. And honestly, there's much more experimental things that you can do with this. I just want to show off the basics with these kind of videos because I feel like these are the kind of tools that you kind of have to explore yourself a lot. So I've just given you all of the tools, the way that you kind of create multiple signal chains and then route between them. That is really the cool part about a system like this. It's really a modular system, and I like to think of it as phase planned specifically for wavetable creation. I've also seen comments from people saying that it works on mobile, which could be really cool. That means that just anywhere where you are, you can whip out your phone and create a couple of wavetables. The final thing that I want to show you is their own kind of library of wavetables. If I go over here, I can now share this project with the community of this website itself. So I can just say experiment 1. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't really know. And then I can put in all of the different tags that I want over here. This is going to be a wavetable as well as an experiment. Honestly, within the synthesis part and the shape like I don't really know where I would put this kind of stuff. And also for the rest, I might fill this in, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. And then you can just share it over here and that will broadcast it to the community, which you can find by going to the wavetable search page. And here you can just search through a whole bunch of different wavetables that other people have created. So let's just quickly play a few of them, make sure that the volume is turned up over here, and then we just play. There's definitely some cool stuff going on over here. Say that we want to actually look into this patch and edit it. What we do is we just right click over here. In this case, I middle click so that it opens in a new tab. And now we can see exactly how this is done. And this actually looks pretty simple. Just a nice glassy kind of texture. So overall, I just wanted to share this website with you guys because I think that this is something that needs to be shared and more people need to see that this is out there and experiment with it. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to check out the websites, the link will be in the description. But that's going to be it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Let me know if you did by leaving a like and make sure that you're subscribed. Another way to support me is by watching some more of my content. So I'll leave 2 videos up on the screen for you to choose from. So just pick one and enjoy, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.